What up, motherfuckers? Backass podcast. I'm still rambling about crazy shit. By the way, this one, conspiracy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Why,
I know.
Have more conversation?
Not on air, but like, it was basically like, she talked, I sat there, like, pausing my show. You know, normal, right? But I was kind of intrigued with some of the crazy theories that she had. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because she won't do it on here. You know? So I'm like, well, what the fuck are you telling me for then? Like, I can't. If I can't use it, I don't care about it. But that just shows there's people out there that believe crazy shit, right? Yeah. Then there's other people that believe crazy shit that actually could be credible at some point, right? So what we were talking about before I hit the button was the rapture, right? Like the Bible shit, religion. So the Book of Revelations, that whole chapter, it's fascinating, okay? Because the whole book is like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like a snake told the dude to do,
Seems
you know what
like
I mean?
A fictional
You're
story.
like, bro, like, okay. And Alice in Wonderland, you know, like, any of this shit, you're like, all right, Alice is real. The rabbit fucking, you know, like, but then when you read that chapter, you're like, whoa, like, you're like, all right, which one of the dudes wrote this one? Because I want to read more of his shit, right? Because, you know, isn't it like the disciples were writing and he was telling them what to do, right?
You're asking the wrong
I don't know.
person.
So basically, it's like, but it's the the telephone effect, right?
Right.
Shit gets twisted and exaggerated, and then they lose. And then by the time it gets to us,
manipulated,
hundreds and whatever years later, we're like, I think it means this. Well, like, you don't know what the fuck it means, okay?
Well, this
because the only dudes that know what it means is the ones that wrote it, and half of those guys didn't even know what it meant. You know, for all we know, it's like Charles Manson took some acid and told you to start writing, and then you turn around and you're like, that's the rules of the world. But
it's the rules of the world.
Again, there's all, like I said, I have crazy theories about, because you got that book, you have, I mean, all the books, the Quran, every religious book where they actually like, this is this culture's Bible, you know?
Yeah.
They have a lot of similarities, right?
Right.
I've already touched on the whole came from the sky, taught shit, dipped, right? But that being said, the fucking Book of Revelations talks about the end of the world. Okay? It's not really, it's pretty plausible, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you write that, but people have been warring for since we've been alive, right? There's always war, conflict and wars. There's always been diseases. There's always been famine, like all of the fucking natural disasters, plague, whatever the fuck. But the thing is this particular this book, right? Their version talks about some shit that is like futuristic shit, right? Talking about the mark of the beast and saying like, when the shit hits the fan, and like I broke it down. So when the true believers get raptured, so then all of a sudden you wake up, like, where the fuck half of the people are gone, right? So then, you know, the media is gonna cover that up. Well, there was you know, they went to Mars or whatever the fuck they're gonna say. But during this time, it's also like the peak of crazy, right? So our atmosphere is not holding up very well. I don't know if you do this. Global warming is real, but we also found out that the atmosphere further up is getting colder. So the inside part is getting hot, the outside is getting cold. That's going to create some fucked up weather, right? The natural disasters, the weather shit that we've been seeing is bad, okay? Everyone's like, but we've never had tornadoes in the fucking Rocky Mountains. You haven't had like this. Some of these tsunamis and shit, like, they say, oh yeah, it happens every couple thousands of years, the volcano blows, it kills. But now we're getting shit popping off where we're like, this shouldn't happen right now. Like, it shouldn't happen you know. They're like, their numbers are getting fucked up. And they're like, well, our math was spot on. Why? And it's because of global warming, blah, blah, blah. Which, that's our fault. Human beings fucked this planet up. It ain't gonna sustain for that much longer, you know, like,
Yeah.
But then you take that into effect with, like, conflicts, wars, nuclear weapons, fucking everything else that this whole chapter talks about, right? But they go into, like, precise events that this is going to happen.
Right.
And then there's a whole timeline. A bunch of the shit has happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's like, it could be coincidence. But then there's other parts where they're like, no, at this time, these two countries are going to be fighting.
Yeah.
And then this is going to happen.
Right.
All the way, like, the mosque in Jerusalem will be torn down, rebuilt. Like, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about buildings and shit for? But then when you see it on the news, you're like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it's starting to get weird, right?
Yeah.
This whole Russian-Ukraine shit is mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, actually mentioned.
Yeah.
Hundreds, whatever the fucking book. I was like, but of course, it's people don't catch on to it because it was different people. You know, it wasn't called Russian-Ukraine. It was like whatever region and but it all. But the whole thing is like all these little things like that, little details.
Yeah.
They're talking about UFOs. They're talking about fucking nuclear weapon. Like, they're talking about all this shit that was nobody, like, those thoughts shouldn't have been in anybody's head.
Right.
Back when you're riding camels and fucking,
you
know, the automobile ain't even invented, but they're talking about flying ships and shit. I'm like, what? These dudes just on some good ass fucking good drugs, right? But then you get into this fucking goddamn Mark of the Beast shit, right? Technology is 100% proof that there is, if at the least, other life somewhere, right? I mean, there's existence of somebody else other than us,
right?
Because we went from black and white TV to all of a sudden, fucking, you know, like it just in a 20-year span we went crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking iPhone, smartphone, like
real
technology.
And now
we are not
with
fucking
Apple's
intelligent.
just releasing like that, you can see like put on these,
and it's pretty much
vision goggles that like,
it is VR
displays,
shit like crazy.
but it displays your whole like computer screens, like everything that's on your iPad you could pull up there, like to where it's like you're in your room but you're seeing these screens in front of you, like futuristic type
so
shit.
It's pretty much common knowledge at this point that where all that technology came from was reverse engineering of somebody else's shit. UFOs, whatever, right? Aliens, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. I don't think that's coincidence, though. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've already talked about the fallen angels. Like, I believe that the fallen angels from the Bible, the stories in the Bible, the devil sent. I believe that they are the aliens,
right?
Because they came down
from the sky,
teach you a bunch of cool shit, tell you to fuck goats and worship cats.
Right.
Those civilizations take a digger, but they pass on the technology, information, and
then they did.
Then guess what? Because of that knowledge, like we have basically just been fucking this planet up, right? And I mean, you see, it's everything coincides with the technology. I mean, if we never came up with fucking computers, I don't think we would have as crazy a conflicts and everything. You know what I mean? Like shit would be different,
right?
I mean, now because of the internet, now people are fighting over, you know, make America great, you know, like all these stupid little bullshit, like, I want to be a they, you know what I mean? Like, nobody would give a fuck if somebody said that in school. They'd be like, they're just weird. But now,
I mean, social media alone has created
now
a massive
they got
problem.
anybody can fucking has a problem. They can make a platform and they can gather people to fucking fight for their cause, even if they're like, their cause is the sky's not blue, it's fucking red, you know. Then you're gonna have 700,000 people like, fucking fuck you, it's red, you've been lying to us. I mean, it's so out of control. Dude. So then you get into this whole implant shit. They've been implanting fucking animals and people with tracking devices or whatever. Then there's like stories of companies in Europe where they have to get a chip in their skin to scan to get into the building. Right. These are the first steps of something I don't even want to fucking go that way. Like, whether you believe or not, that's just who you're playing with fire.
Yeah.
So if it gets to the point where they're like, listen, it's already in the works. They're trying to get rid of paper money because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Credit cards and that, like, they're going to be like, listen, get the fucking chip.
Yeah.
It's got your banking information, your medical history. It's got everything.
Well, yeah. Again, that's literally what our phone is now.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like, because you don't even need the actual credit card. It's all on your phone.
They're going to put it in your, and I believe it said in verbatim, like, it's going to be either like your hand or your fucking in your head. So like, yeah, they put a chip in your head, like, oh, you know, but without it, if you can't go to the grocery store because you don't have something fucking implanted,
right,
those people are going to be treated like scum, right? Like, and maybe even prosecuted. So that's the part. Okay, so the true believers or whatever, they get raptured or they disappear. You're like, where the fuck they go? They go to heaven or wherever the fuck.
Right.
So everybody on Earth's like, oh, well, what the fuck? And then now you're like, I have to take a fucking chip to eat.
Right.
But then if you take the chip, you automatically go to hell, right? Like, that's the rule. If you take it, you burn in hell for eternity. If you don't take it, you're going to suffer on Earth.
Right.
But when you die, you know, you might make the cut. Right. So it's like, dude, it's a crazy story, and it's fucking, it's like, just be
it's like crazy. Everyone that's left turns into a giant, drastic, even more drastic battle royale movie.
Oh, bro, well, the people, like so...
What's left, you have to figure out a way to survive or succumb to...
And at the same point, it also says that the Antichrist is going to come and basically, he's like president of the world, right? So when all the governments start merging, or when they start planning like mass, like basically killing large amounts of people, because in order to control the entire population, you have to shorten it, right? Or just bend everybody to believe what you believe, right? So like if money starts converting, you know, like it's one money system for everybody, one government for everybody, then you just know, like either you're reading this and following the map, or you're doing it blindly and it just happens to be already written. I don't want to fucking take that risk, okay? So with the way the shit's been going, if they go to like, hey, you have to take a chip to, you know, or you can't, you know, we're getting rid of money you have to take. I'm like, guess what? I'm fucking back to the tent days, bro. I'm already been training for this shit. I am not letting anybody put anything under my skin.
Right. I know how to live off the grid.
And, I mean, it sounds like a fucking crazy, you know, conspiracy theorist rambling, but...
It's plausible, though. With
I have fucking have... Goddamn frogs. I have been, like, studying that kind of shit my whole life. Like, because I was, like, you know, raised Christian or whatever. But then I had, like, I was the kid, like, well, that doesn't make sense. What about this? And they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want you putting holes in their story. But then, you get into science, and then it's the same thing. Well, that doesn't make sense. So then you start fitting pieces, like that fills that gap. Then you go into other religious shit. And then you find out, you're like, look, everybody believes that people came from the sky, taught us shit that we weren't ready for, right? Dipped, but has continued to come back to check on us. I don't believe that these people give a fuck about us, is the thing. Like,
or
there's people who are like, oh, there's different races, these guys are good guys, these guys are bad guys, they're warring. Maybe it is, but maybe that's the same story that was written, like, so God and Jesus could be the good aliens, and the guys that were cast out could be the bad aliens, right?
Yeah.
And then fucking they are at war, and they also have already said, like, look, this is what's gonna happen. You guys are gonna destroy yourselves. Like, I mean, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but it just makes more sense when you look at all of it as a whole, like. And the way, like I said, so I consider myself to be a circleist because I believe that this is not the only time that this has happened. The Earth, you know, something blew up. Earth was created, and once the Earth is dead, something else is going to take its, you know, like life will come back. Like everything, you know, you die, your body decomposes and creates life, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, and I also believe it's the same thing with your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe when you die,
mm-hmm.
a part of you does go somewhere else and continues.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if reincarnation. I don't believe that. Like, maybe you do come back, but I don't think I'm coming back as a beetle. And if I do, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to remember this conversation right now. You know what I mean? So, but I believe that wherever you go, you carry memories with you.
Yeah.
But I also believe that, yeah, it's not going to be a fucking easy ride.
Pretty
ending.
ending.
You know what I mean? Like, death is easy. Living's the hard part.
That's true.
And the way we've taken everything granted, like, we're just making it harder for our fucking kids and our kids' kids. So I always thought, I don't give a shit because I'll be dead. But the way shit's going, it's like, bro, I might be, if I do make it, I don't want to be 80 and be like,
you might.
It's the end of the world. Oh, well, I ain't fucking running. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm just here.
Start doing heroin.
Yeah. Fucking something. Got that? Where's that 8-ball?
Can you rip that back open, please? Because there's some good shit in there that I want.
I feel like a madman for that rant, but
there are going to be people out there that are like, what?
It's interesting, right? I mean, it's interesting to think about, and sometimes I think about it logically. Sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? You know what I mean? But I've also written papers and shit and about these ideas, and again wasn't a fucking A student, but I wrote the shit because the topic I was actually interested in, and then when they came to grade your paper, they're like, well, I didn't get my paper back. What the fuck? And he goes, oh, yours has actually been sent to be read by some college motherfuckers. I was like, why? Because it's really interesting take, and so next thing you know, I gotta go and do, like, I gotta fucking talk about it in front of a bunch of college people. I'm in like 10th grade, and explain my thing, and I'm like, bro, I gotta get high first, because I don't even know what I was fucking saying half of it. You know what I mean? I'm doing exactly what I'm doing now. I just was ranting, and they're like, yeah, but your rant made sense. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, damn it.
I go, that's not helping. Like, that's not what you want to hear. You want to be told, like, bro, it's all bullshit. Don't worry about it. But I'm like, really? This could happen? Yeah, it's one of those. I don't want to be right. I hope I'm full of shit. But then when they're like, all right, who wants their implant? I'm like, fuck you. You're going to see me on the news. Man blows up implant factory or something. Oh, bro, you got...
Yeah. I want
can't
those
eat
too.
that right now, though.
Alright, well, we can wait.
No, my teeths. I've been having some teeth problems.
Alright, well, I can eat it then.
And I really want one of these, but it's going to be... Bad news bears. Ow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, and it's mustard. I hate my life sometimes.
Why?
You think with all this fucking technology, they could just give you new teeth when you want them. You know what I mean? I gotta pay.
You can if you want to pay.
Thousands of dollars.
Yep. So good,
stupid.
Oh, I opened that on the bottom.
Good job.
Oh, that's funny. Still works the same. But that's probably why that was like super spicy.
I really did have like some video and shit, but I got so worked up about these topics that
sometimes you gotta let it out.
Yeah. Failed to even get the guests, you know, like, fuck them. They can wait.
We can do another day. It's not like we won't be doing this again.
Editing is gonna be fun.
What is there to edit?
I don't know.
I didn't say anything, man.
I don't know what I said.
I don't honestly think that we need to edit either of these. We can just post it.
True, but I mean, I don't know. Do I just sound like a crazy person right now?
To some people, sure. There's always going to be shit
I
that's
did this video with tinfoil cap?
No, because that would make you a crazy person to anyone. Except for a paranoid schizophrenic who's locked up in their room and not watching this anyway.
Touche, salesman. Alright, well, you got anything else to add to the crazy talk?
Not really.
Danny sent me a picture of his shit.
Oh yeah, if Danny Ray got on the phone, we would be having conversations about
He just came back from camping.
About shit.
With a bunch of dudes, I'm pretty sure.
I mean...
So you're going camping with who? You know, dudes from the place. Yeah. I'm like, sounds fucking horrible. You know what I mean? Like, the same people you see every day in a facility, and now we're going to go do the exact same thing, in nature. I mean, I guess it's a little better.
I was going to say, I mean, for someone who would always prefer to be outside, I would think that you would like to do something.
That's got to be tempting, too, for some of those people. Like, I'm just going to run into the woods, you know? Yeah. Like, not come back.
I'm sure that they are prepared for that kind of situation.
They got dogs and shit. Like, don't try to run.
Right. Once you reach his perimeter.
Sit in front of the campfire and sing your damn songs. You know?
Kumbaya it up, fucker.
The thing is, camping was fun, but... Like, you're fishing, drinking, riding four-wheelers.
Well,
you know, picking mushrooms. But, I mean, if you're going...
They could do all those things minus the mushrooms and the drinking
I couldn't go camping with a bunch of people that I don't really want to hang out with. And then I'm, like, forced to stick to their schedule. You know,
right now was this a situation, though, where he had to go?
I think he wanted to go, but...
All right, well, then if he wanted to go, then maybe it would be, like, just him camping with a bunch of his buddies and being out in nature. And if that's the case... Or if that's not something that you would want to do, then why are we even doing this? We're sitting outside, hanging out. Like,
true, but
I would never go camping, period. But like, if that's your thing, like, then why wouldn't you want to do that? Yeah. It's not like he had to go.
I guess in that situation,
he's chilling with a bunch of his friends.
Fuck out.
Exactly. Yeah, like, would you rather sit in a place like that?
I'm shitting on it, and he's like, dude, this is the best time ever.
Right, like, that's freedom.
I don't know. Maybe it's because every time I went camping. It was fun, but then there's always somebody crying about it. Somebody didn't have fun, and I had to hear about it. I'm like, well, you know, this is how I camp. If you don't like it, fuck off.
Don't agree to go next time. Which is exactly their situation.
I guess now it's like, I've had my fill of camping for a while. Everybody's like, dude, let's go camping. I'm like, why? Bro.
No. The extent of my camping consisted of my dad building a platform.
In an RV?
No.
I mean, you got me a hotel room. That's not camping, but to really camp in a tent, I'm like, I don't need to do that because I'm like trying to get away from the camping. You know what I mean? Like, I've had enough nature.
So my dad, when we were younger, he built this platform because he knew that I hated bugs and I wouldn't stay on the floor. So he built this platform in our backyard that was the perfect size for the tent that we had. And whenever we wanted to camp, he would set that up, and that's where we would camp in our backyard on this platform because, like, I was never going to camp on the ground because I do not like bugs. But I'd never actually been out to like a place and camped like that. No, and I never would.
That's the only way to do it. I mean,
I would never do it. It's not my cup of tea.
We set up a tent on the trampoline. That ain't camping. That's just hanging out in your backyard.
That's
but
exactly
like to go up to like Hell's Hole Trail, where it's fucking but it's like, you know me, go big or go home.
Right.
So I'm like taking people deep till we'll wake up in the morning and there's bear claw marks and fucking crazy shit. And then but it's like this. We would do this thing. We get fucking hammered. We play war games.
When there's bears around you. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. You get a new respect for mosquitoes when you do shit like that. You know, it's like the fishing. He's like, we could start slow. And I'm like, fuck that. Get me in the kayak. We're going out there. And then I'm halfway there. I'm like, this was a bad idea.
This was so bad.
Then I like it.
Yeah.
I guess, you get those adrenaline junkies. They're like, let's go sky. I'm like, no. Why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I'm not
that I would do.
I'm not, and I was adrenaline junkie, like with a skateboard, but I'm also very aware of,
death,
pain, and what causes it. Like
yeah,
so,
but
like,
pain never stopped you though.
No,
because you have a lot of crazy stories where you're like, oh, let's fucking do it again.
Well, I was dumb as a kid, but as I get older,
But you wouldn't do anything that you could potentially die from.
I know that I don't have the skill to do this. When I was younger, though, I'm like, fuck it, I'm only in 12 stairs. I'm like, bro, you could barely ollie like, this high. I'm like, fuck, you can do 12 stairs, really? And then, bust your head open, and then you think you'd be like, all right, maybe I should try like 6 stairs next time. No, I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it. It's a fucking stupid way of looking at shit. You gotta start slow and work your way up. I mean, I guess not everybody does it that way, but
everyone has different things.
That's why I could never own a crotch rocket. I'll kill myself. Everything I've got on with a motor.
Yeah, that was what Max said about having any motorcycle period, but mainly crotch rockets, was that he's like, the minute I'm not afraid of speed, it's time to sell and get out of it, because that's when shit gets dangerous, when you get cocky like that. And we've had a lot of friends of his that have died on motorcycles, on specifically crotch rockets. One guy who was so chill, he was awesome, and he was riding like a freaking asshole, weaving in and out, and he fucking, I don't know if a car clipped him or something, but it propelled him head first into a school bus. And they said he died on impact, and that was the end of that.
I mean,
and that was a horrible funeral, because he was young. He was like in his like late 30s, and not even, he was probably mid 30s at that point, and he like just done because he was riding like an asshole.
Thinking about the shit that we used to do, like, I mean, just the drug use alone, like, taking shit you don't even know what it is, like mixing shit, but then like car surfing, the skateboard shit. I mean, we'd play tag with our car. Like, we did fucking crazy shit. Even the merry-go-round wars. There wasn't one time somebody didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you survived, it was like, fucking, I'm a badass. They wanted to make a t-shirt, like, I survived merry-go. So what it was fucking those old metal ones. You spin it as fast as you can. You got like 5-6 dudes. You all jump on as it's hauling ass, and you play King of the Hill. You throw the other person off. Okay, I don't know if you know how fucking physics works, but if you come off, that motherfucker is still spinning.
Yeah.
So bars would catch people in the hips. The motherfuckers get hung up. They break fucking... Dude, people would break shit. And then when you fell off, you had to get and like keep spinning it until the last guys. And it always came down to one versus one.
Yeah.
Dude, I won that shit a lot of times. And then when you got thrown off, it was about learning how to land without getting hurt.
Yeah.
But, bro, I mean, it's like a 50-50 chance. Like, okay, if I get thrown off, I'm going to get thrown safely. It never, dude,
there's nothing safe about that.
I've had step bar came around, smacked me in the fucking head, bro.
Oh, my God.
Stupid. Playing full football games at the park.
Yeah.
No pads.
So
full contact.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So when you said that you guys used to play tag with your cars.
Yeah.
Definitely not dangerous like that, but
it made me hard. You would haul ass around town. You'd hide in the alleys, and then when you get caught, like, chase them.
Yeah.
And then you would speed up and you'd bump them.
Yeah.
But there's other vehicles. There's all kinds of things that could go wrong. Yeah. We also did that kind of shit in the snow and ice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of mailboxes got taken out. I've been hit by cars.
Oh my God.
I've done the whole get pulled behind vehicles in stupid shit, like rollerblades, skateboards. We built little carts, anything stupid. Like, oh, you could get killed. Let's try that. You know?
So not on that dangerous type level, but when you were saying that, it made me think back to when I was in EMT and I was volunteering for this company in New York. Mm-hmm. And again, our shift or our crew usually always consisted of myself, my mom, my sister, and her boyfriend at the time. And then at some point throughout the night, because we would do an 18-hour shift. And so we were going through the middle of the night. And most of the time in the middle of the night, there were other people that would pop up too that were like, we were close. We had like a crew of multiple people that we were all close. So they would come down and they would hang out with us. My mom also used to cook all the time and bring food. So it was like a big to-do. But in the middle of the night, when we were up, we would hop in the ambulances. We had 4 at any time that were, well, we were mainly using 2 at a time, and they would rotate them so that they weren't getting worn out more. And
maintenance reasons,
right. And then you had the first responders, which were like the SUVs, like the Ford Expedition that my mom was an old first responder. And so there would be at least 3 vehicles, if not 4, going out, and we would have like a partner in each. This way, if a call came out, we would respond. But we would go around the district and we would play hide and seek. Like we would go to like a dealership or whatever that had like a space that we could fit in, and we would back into where we matched. The one time we did it in a Ford dealership to where the front of the vehicle matched, and you would see people like our crew passing by us, and we would have to hop on the air. We would switch channels this way. It wasn't like going to all of everyone. And we would give clues, and like it was it was a lot of fun, honestly, like playing hide and seek in these vehicles. It was fucking so much fun. They would hide off of parts of the expressway, like a main highway. They would like hide on like the median, and they would like give us like clues based on like where they were type thing. And we had to fucking put all the clues together and find them. It was fucking awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my god.
It was a lot of fun.
I can think of that. Like, we were creative with our games, but they were fucking so destructive. Like,
yeah, we didn't do the destructive part, and you couldn't in ambulances anyway. It would be very bad.
Good times. Dude, believe it or not, like, out of everybody, dude, I never had a broken bone. Like, well, I mean, my hand, like hairline fractures and shit, but like I've never went and been treated for a broken bone. We'll put it that way.
I've had fractures, but that's about it.
A lot of stitches, and so like I'm thinking as an EMT or whatever. Like, did you guys have the railers? They're like, oh yeah, they're back again. You know what I mean? Like Steve-O coming to every once a week.
Not not in like the trauma type stuff. We had it more in like the drug addicted or the sick. Like that they would like repeatedly call me and be like, oh, it's this address again.
Fucking
exactly.
Polio. No, you have a stomach bug.
Oh my god, it was so much fun with like some people that they were like so, like they were really just looking for a reason to get like pain meds or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But like they would like be like so convinced or whatever that like they needed morphine. They needed morphine. And we were like, and they wouldn't take like no for an answer. They were like, we know you have it, like whatever. We never, as basic EMTs, we weren't allowed to give her that shit. And even, I don't think even like the CCs and all that stuff, like the paramedics were allowed to give them that shit. But my sister's boyfriend at the time, he used to take one of the leads, you know the sticky things that they put on your chest.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a little snap, like it's a button. He'd be like, all right. Like I'll give you what you want, whatever. And he would put the lead right on their forehead and be like, listen, all you gotta do is just press that button and it'll put like medicine into your body. And they would sit there and go,
and it's psychological.
It's completely psychological.
Because, like when I ate my face, I don't like painkillers. Like I don't like downers, shit. Even weed, like I'll take a few hits and I'm like, but too much, I'm like, I don't like it. So they gave me Tylenol with codeine. For my pain, and I just split my face open. But then when I had my stomach shit, they're like, all right, if you're feeling pain, just hit this button. And I was like, oh, what the fuck, bro? I'm like, and then I just stared and watched this movie for an hour, like. And I was like, I don't even want to know what it was. Like, I didn't ask. I was like, whatever that shit is, bro. that's some shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, then there's other people that seek that shit out.
Yeah.
They're like, they gave you that?
When
Do you have any more? I'm like, no, I told them don't write me a prescription for it. I'm like, that's all I need.
Yeah, right. Another problem.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to the hospital for my ulcer, they gave me Dilaudid.
Yeah, I think
was
that's
like,
what it was.
Oh.
Yeah, ulcers can be fucking bad, especially when you're. And the thing is, I always have been this way. I wait until it gets worse and worse, until the point where I'm like, I think I have to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when I get there, they're like, why didn't you come like way you're? I'm like, because I'm not a pussy. And they're like, well, now you're in some serious shit. I'm like, all right.
So when I had mine, I had no idea what was happening. I just knew that I was waking up in the middle of the night with this excruciating pain, which I have a really high pain tolerance, but this was like, I was going downstairs, I couldn't figure out what would help. I would just grab like pieces of bread. This is in the middle of the night, and I would we had a peninsula, and at the end of the peninsula, I would just drop down on my knees and hold the counter because I was in so much fucking pain. And it was so horrible, and I was still working. I was still doing everything I was supposed to, and I had my private clients, and those clients that I had, that the one guy was a bodybuilder or whatever, I would see them late night on Sundays.
Yeah.
I was working on him, and then I was going to work on his wife. And I'm working on him, and I would see them every other week. And he was kind of intuitive. He was. I didn't like to admit it, but he was. And he could see that something was wrong. He knew me. And I'm like, I'm good, whatever. I'm dying, and I'm like, I'm good, and I'm working on him, whatever. And I was still doing the same thing I usually do. I was able to still deliver.
I'm just imploding.
Exactly. But so I'm working on him, and he's like, Lynn's like, I could see that you're not okay. I'm like, so what's actually happening is this. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? Just like that. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. I can finish. And it got to the point where he's like, you are not okay. You don't just need to go home. You need to go to a hospital. This is not all right. And I'm like, you know what? I think you might be right. And I felt so weird about it because I've never brought myself to the hospital before. So I call Mac. I'm like, listen, I'm leaving early. I need to go to the hospital, whatever. And so I'm like, I'm going to start driving there. And he's like, and he's working at this point. He's in Baltimore. Yeah. And he talks to his supervisor. His supervisor is like, go meet her somewhere and you take her because she'll get seen faster. So he hauled ass to a meeting point that was a shopping center by our house, which was exactly. So he's like, and then I will take you in my cruiser to the hospital that's by our house, and is way out of district, might I add. So we meet. He takes me. I don't think he had his sirens on because he wasn't allowed, but he did put his lights on, and he hauled ass down the road. And this is late on a Sunday, and took me to the hospital, whatever. But he walks me in, and I don't know if it's just a cop thing because he's still in uniform, but he I'm walking, and he's got me under the arm like this. Yeah. So when he walked me in, the nurse that's sitting right in front, she pulls him aside, and she's like, what's going on? She thought that he was I was being arrested. And he's like, no, this is my wife. She's just dying right now. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, come this way, whatever. But I'm like, they seriously thought that I was a fucking that you had me in custody and you're fucking walking me into the goddamn hospital. But then they see me and whatever, they give me the drugs, and I'm just sitting there, and then
I fucking hate it. And I always wait till last minute. Yeah. Or I try to do shit on my own prior. Right. And then they yell at you for that. Yeah. Or then there's sometimes where I go, and then the one time the nurse was a fucking cunt. I kicked my shit. I'm sweat. I'm dying. It was my stomach shit, but I had I was so dehydrated, my blood sugar. I got,
everything.
Blood pressure issues. So I'm like, dude, I'm dying. And so I'm laying on the stupid bed in the hospital, and I kick my shoes off. Yeah. Because I'm I can't get a little bit comfortable. Yeah. And this bitch comes in and is like, this isn't your house. She fucking snapped at me for it. What? So then I made it a conscious decision to make this chick's life hell. And I did.
You were successful.
Yeah. And I go, listen, I don't come here. Like, if I lose my arm, and I could fucking take care of it myself, I ain't coming. Right.
So don't make me feel like shit for actually being here.
I've had massive infections and then pulled my own teeth. And then they're like, bro, you could have died. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't.
Right.
I'm getting better at it. You know what I mean? Like, I lanced the shit, got rid of the infection part. It's not, I don't recommend it.
Right.
But I did have this giant abscess, and I fucking lanced it. It was one of the worst pains of my life.
Right.
Drained it, pulled the tooth, went on with my day.
Yeah.
And then when I went in for a different one, they're like, I told them, I did that one myself. They're like, what the and then I tell them, they're like, dude, you don't fucking do that because that infection
could have been worse.
Give you a heart attack. I'm like, bro.
Right.
Because you know what else
your
give you a heart
mouth
attack?
and your
a lot
heart.
Of the other things that I
do. But your mouth and your heart are like connected completely.
It's super close to your brain. I mean, it could go south so many ways.
Yeah. That's why, like, a lot of people have to, like, people with certain heart conditions have to take certain medication for a week prior to just the cleaning.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like, any kind of thing. You know, my teeth, I try to do it myself. Like, stitch up my own shit, you know. You get stung by shit. I've had it to where my arm was swollen.
Yeah.
Because there was a fucking barb from something that stung me, and I was getting, like, a blood infection.
Oh, my God.
I took care of that myself. And there's other things where I'm like, all right, I can't do this. I have to go. But I always wait as
the last
long
minute.
as I can.
Yeah, hence why you almost died from a fucking black widow bite.
Yeah. So, and that's, you know, that's something I need to work on, but.
Yeah. For sure.
This frog is, like, attacking. What the fuck is he eating? You see this?
Yeah. It's trying to grab a piece of paper.
This frog is attacking tissue paper or some shit. It's fucking really hungry, I guess. I don't know. What time is it?
It's 40 minutes in. We should end it.
Yeah. It's 11. We can still do shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
Button.